Hello Reddit, my name is Kang Chol-hwan. For 10 years I was a prisoner at Yodok political prison camp in North Korea. My family and I were sent there after my grandfather was accused of treason by the Kim regime. 5 years ago, I did a Q&A on Reddit about the living conditions in North Korea. In 2020, I've decided to do the same. Since escaping North Korea, I have become a journalist, author, and human rights activist. I am the founder of the North Korea Strategy Center, an NGO whose goal is to advocate for free media and press in North Korea. We target North Koreans directly by sending external media such as movies, documentaries, and dramas inside the country. I will be answering questions with the help of my translator. So please leave your questions and give us some time to answer them. Smile. We look forward to hearing from you. Edit. From translator, I would like to apologize for constantly switching from first to third person. All questions will be answered by Mr. Kang unless stated otherwise. What were some of the more extreme things you saw while in camp? Did you make any friends in prison that you intend to keep up with as time goes by? What is the craziest thing that happened to you personally while serving your time? The most extreme thing in the camp was how desperate people were to live. And also, seeing executions, where people were hanged to death in public. The most normal form of execution is by shooting. I have made friends in North Korea. However, it is very dangerous to contact them even in North Korea. Needless to say, it is even more difficult when I'm in South Korea. How did you escape North Korea and did you flee alone? Huge respects to you. I can't think how strong people like you are. He escaped by the river into China. With the help of some Chinese, he hid in a Chinese vessel into international waters and got saved by a Korean ship. He escaped with his friend. What kind of external media you send across seas? I know you said movies, documentaries, etc., but are you just sending stuff to people who ask? Is there a mailing list? I'm glad you made it out, and are trying to help others who were in some sort of trouble as you were. It's nice seeing the good side of things, like there can be a light at the end of the tunnel. Hi. I'm a staff working with Mr. Kang. I'll help answer some questions related to the organization and leave the rest to be answered personally by Mr. Kang next week. We send information through USBs, external hard drives and chips. We've people working with us in China. As we've been doing this for years, we've collated a list of people that are interested in the content. Usually, these people are elites making frequent trips to China. We are now looking into sending entrepreneurship content to university students, as many defectors of that age has expressed interest. Smile. Thank you so much for your question. That is very interesting. I was under the impression that most North Koreans do not have access to computers, and the ones that do, have their computers locked down by the government. So how can they view this content? Staff, small computers that Chinese businessmen smuggle in can be obtained from the black market. In recent years, we received inside news that a few university students were caught watching external content in their dormitories. The main instigator was expelled and later disappeared. The rest of them were forced to stop school for a year and were sent to a reform institution for a year. So, while they can view these content, it is also quite risky for them to do so. Do you suffer from any PTSD? Do the events that happened in the prison affect your everyday life? To be honest, he isn't sure. He felt like he has gotten used to it, but definitely, it was an extremely traumatic experience. With this traumatic experiences, Mr. Kang feels that it has affected all prisoners and North Koreans, even though they may not feel anything. Sometimes, simple things in everyday life reminds him of the life in prison, e.g. feeling chilly on a rainy day makes him feel gloomy. What kind of food did they give you to eat, and what time did you have to get up and go to bed? Did they let you talk to the other prisoners at all? They had a very limited ration of food. As there were many cornfields, they mostly ate corn as a staple. Due to a period of malnutrition, people started turning to hunting for rats for consumption. Prisoners are able to talk to each other. Have you seen the drama Crash Landing on You? Do you believe it was able to portray life in North Korea well? If you haven't seen it, how well do you believe South Koreans understand life in North Korea? Yes, he feels that the drama has portrayed life in North Korea well. He feels that South Koreans see them as foreigners. They are intrigued and they receive many information. However, due to the differences in mindset, they have a distorted perception about North Koreans. I was also interested in this. I wondered if an actual North Korean might take offense at the show, since it depicts North Korea in many respects as a fairly decent place to live. Simplistic but also kind of wholesome. Staff, great question. I will answer this question to the best of my knowledge before it drowns in the huge influx of comments. I was an English mentor for North Korean defectors a few years ago. I've been working closely with many North Koreans for about 2 years now. Many of them have mentioned that they do miss the simplicity in nature in North Korea. Unlike the South and the rest of the world, it is less competitive and they do not have to worry about their future, work, school. One of them also told me about the memories he had playing by the riverside when he was young, but he said he could not longer enjoy that simplicity because of technological advancement over here. What percentage of North Koreans don't like Kim Jonghoon? At first, there weren't many people who disliked them because of the lack of outside information. In the past, 80% of people liked Kim Il-sung. 40% liked Kim Jong-il. However, as there is an influx of outside information, Mr. Kang suggests that only 20% of people like Kim Jong-un. Also, as there are many negative connotation about Kim Jong-un, e.g. building mixed saunas and karaokes for adult entertainment. I'm curious for this statement. Are mixed saunas and karaoke a bad thing? I would think it could be seen as a gift to the oppressed people. When your people is starving, I'm not sure karaoke/saunas are appreciated. If I was poor and hungry in NK, I think I would see this as a gift to the people that are rich enough to not worry about food and others' first necessities, things like medication. Edit. I'm reading this again, and I may have misunderstood. Are the people actually complaining about mixity or the establishments? North Korea is nevertheless still an Asian and conservative country. If I were to guess, I would guess that these places are only for the inner circle, and young girls plucked from various places around the country. If that's right, I could see people objecting to the elite behaving as they do in a similar way to how we object to Epstein's Island. That's right. While North Korea is a patriotic society, it is also a conservative one, with adult establishments as such in midst of starvation and other forms of suffering. It really shows a bad image of Kim. For the Americans in here, I'd say compare it to Biff Tower and Back to the Future 2, a sleazy jacuzzi for a tyrant with a big comical cigar existing only to force women to pretend they are okay with what's happening while everyone else starves. Sure, I can see your point. I'm curious about what we can do. The people are starving, but what can they do? What can we do? Is it better to be starving and have no karaoke or to be starving and have karaoke? I'm not trying to be an ass. Is he giving them bread and circuses to detract from the lack of food and medication? To explain further, it's Kim putting the elites, aka those that can afford, sexual needs first and the most basic survival necessities of people that makes it a huge problem. It becomes obvious that Kim doesn't care about them at all despite being their supreme leader, and therefore, making him a less respectable leader. Hope this answers your question. What made you question the propaganda while so many others never did? External information made him question the propaganda. The truth is, as external information and content becomes more common in North Korea, via the black market or through sharing, more and more people are questioning the credibility of the regime. However, many people are uncertain of what can be done to improve in the situation. Is there any good description of this increase in external information? What information is people in NK interested in? Through interviews and years of working with North Korean elites, their interests depend on the age group. Older people prefer serial and period dramas, and young elites, those in university, like intellectual content such as books about economics, etc. In general, variety shows and dramas are very popular among teens. While we all think that everyone in NK are being trapped in the country, that's fortunately not the case. Elites get to go overseas, mostly in China for businesses or as ambassadors. Their children are also able to study there. With that, they are naturally more aware and able to look for external information. Despite the horrible conditions inside of the camp, was there anything positive that gave you hope/respite? Although the camp is horrible, he feels like it gives people the will to live even when life is hard. Also, although it is really small, he made many friends and it seems rather close-knitted. Do you think that the average NK citizen believes that the regime has their best interest at heart? Do you think that the average NK citizen believes that the regime has their best interest at heart? Definitely not. NK citizens know that the regime does not have their best interest, but most of them could not do anything to change their circumstances. I read your book about 10 years ago and it left an impact. To the best of your knowledge, is Yodok still there? Yes, it is still there. However, due to the arrest of Jang Sung-taek and his family, Yodok prison was re-established once again. Do you believe South Korea and North Korea will/can be united? If the government is North Korea is still there, I don't think it's possible, due to the difference in political stance. Is it true that marijuana is legal in North Korea? Is it commonly smoked by people there? Nope, it is illegal. But it is really commonly smoked and available. Also, punishment is lenient. What are your feelings of Trump getting friendly with Kim Jong-un? At first, it seemed like a good thing. It feels like Kim Jong-un is more comfortable with Trump as compared to Xi Jinping. However, Trump is now against Kim Jong-un as he failed to denuclearize as promised. Trump probably thinks that his discussions with Kim Jong-un was useful for re-election. What surprising things North Koreans believe in about the outside world that are not true? Sorry for the late reply. My team and I were very busy with so many appointments and did not get a chance to sit down together to answer questions. In the past, North Koreans are taught that NK is the best place to be. The Kim regime fabricated many things, what wrong the world has done to us, etc. However, in recent years, as more and more outside information is surfacing within NK, and Koreans are starting to see a bigger picture. Did any of the guards look remorseful or upset by the situation they were in? Any hidden small acts of kindness or mercy? Hi, much apologies for the late reply. As human beings, we all have feelings, and guards too will show sadness or feel fear when they do harm to another North Korean. However, it's also understandable that they are also afraid of getting punished by the regime. So, despite feeling fear, they have to nonetheless do as they're told.
What do you think about North Korea? Leave a comment. And subscribe to this channel if you want to see more same videos.